Good morning, Tina.
Good morning, Neil. Hey, Neil, do you remember the day Michael Jackson died?
Of course. It was June 25th, 2009. The whole world seemed to come to a halt after his death. Fans broke down in tears, concerts were canceled, memorials were organized, and every news channel flashed, "The King of Pop is dead." It felt as if people across the world had lost someone of their own.
But do you know, Neil, in the middle of all that grief, a question started circulating. Was Michael Jackson's death actually a murder? How true do you think that idea is?
You see, Tina, before jumping to any conclusion, we need to look deeply into some of the most important events of his life. Michael was born in 1958 in Gary, Indiana, USA, but his childhood was far from happy. His father, Joseph Jackson, raised his children with strict discipline, where there was no place for emotions or affection.
Exactly. I remember Michael himself saying in an interview, "My father thought he was helping me, but in reality he was hurting me emotionally."
That's why psychologists say that his upbringing created deep insecurity and anxiety within him, something that haunted him for the rest of his life. At just 11 years old, Michael became the star of the Jackson 5. His talent lit up the world overnight. Songs like ABC and I Want You Back made him a global name.
But behind all that fame, he lost his childhood. Instead of playing with friends, he was surrounded by managers, rehearsals, and endless expectations.
Absolutely. He became a star at a very young age, but lost his childhood in the process. Then came 1979. The album Off the Wall changed the face of pop music. And in 1982, Thriller became the best-selling album in history, selling more than 66 million copies worldwide.
But with fame came unbearable pressure. The pressure to be perfect. The media followed his every step. Even the smallest mistake became front-page news.
Exactly. That's why Michael often said, "I'm never satisfied. There's always something more to improve." In 1983, during a live TV performance of Billie Jean, he showed the world his iconic moonwalk for the first time, a move that became history. Later, with Smooth Criminal, he pushed his body's limits even further. And that's when things began to change. In his quest for perfection, his body began to suffer. To handle the pain, he turned increasingly to medications. Over the years, his appearance began to change. His nose got thinner, his skin lighter, his facial structure altered completely. Doctors said he suffered from vitiligo, a skin disorder, but many suspected repeated plastic surgeries were behind the transformation.
Maybe it was the fear of losing fame, the desire to hide aging, and the pressure of public image that drove those changes. But I've also heard that his married life wasn't happy either. Is that true?
Yes, in 1994 he married Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of Elvis Presley. The relationship didn't last long, but it was a reflection of his desperate search for companionship. Then, in 1996, he married Debbie Rowe, a nurse. They had 2 children, Prince and Paris. His third child, Blanket, was born later through a surrogate mother. Fatherhood gave him some comfort, but constant media attention, family stress, and health issues made him even more exhausted.
And I remember hearing about a major scandal in his life too.
Yes, the darkest chapter of his life, the child abuse allegations. In 1993, the first case was filed. It was settled out of court, but his reputation took a hit. Then, in 2005, he stood trial again. Although he was acquitted of all charges, public trust never returned. Friends drifted away, his family grew distant, loneliness became his constant companion, and drugs became his dependence. To escape reality, he built Neverland Ranch, a childlike dreamland. But behind the laughter lived a fragile man watched 24 hours a day by medical professionals. To cope with pain, insomnia, and anxiety, his daily life revolved around propofol, benzodiazepines, and other sedatives.
And that's why the cause of his death was declared to be an overdose of propofol and other sedatives.
So after knowing all this, what do you think, Tina? Was Michael Jackson's death truly a murder? Not by knife or gun, but by the pain, loneliness, abuse, and neglect that surrounded him throughout his life.
Or maybe we can say it this way. His moonwalk rehearsals damaged his body, his surgeries changed his face, his relationships fell apart, the abuse allegations isolated him, and his dependence on medication kept increasing.
You know what, Tina? The world loved him but never stood by him. The music industry profited from his talent but ignored his silent cries.
Michael Jackson's story isn't just about music or controversy. It's a warning that behind the glitter of fame often lies unbearable pain. His death wasn't just a medical accident. It was the tragic result of years of neglect and emotional suffering.
So, what do you think? Was Michael Jackson's death truly a murder by circumstance? Share your thoughts in the comments below.